Hello and welcome everybody to the latest edition of the Buy Round. Today we are joined by Charlie White. Charlie.
James, great to be here.
Yeah, great to be here. Obviously, I'm your host, James Graham, and we've called someone in for some questioning. Cheese. Missed last week. Six again. You're back with us. How have you been?
No, I've been very good. I mean, the body's a little bit sore. Just getting back into the battle-hardened version of myself for football, but yeah.
Good to see you playing, mate.
Yeah,
It is good. It's good to be back. I think he's playing me a bit more minutes than I'd be liking to play at this point. I'm getting pretty tired out there, but
Well, I'm not surprised, mate. It is like you are back on the scene after an extended timeout. Like it is tough.
In that ball playing lock role as well.
Yeah, I'm enjoying that role. I am. I don't know. I guess it just because I still get a little bit of time at hooker, and that's what helps me out, and it helps the team out, I guess, because it helps bring Saliva on as a running player, and
Which is harder? Like, which is more taxing, dummy half or lock?
on your body.
Yeah.
Nah, the lock.
Is it? Because you're up and down.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry. No. Oh, lock's harder.
Yeah.
Than hooker.
I think so, but I'm like not like the normal hooker. I just think the high speed efforts you do more high speed efforts, whereas hooker you're sort of lugging around.
Yeah.
Whereas when you're at lock, you have to do a lot of push supports, and you kind of have to be genuine on those push supports. So and then you kind of just get thrown the ball. Whereas hooker you get to choose when you run.
Mate, I forgot to ask you. We spoke about this ages ago. Why do dummy halves throw forward passes?
Why do dummy halves throw forward passes?
Yeah.
I think that's just an adjustment thing.
No, because you should never throw it forward.
Yeah, I know.
Like if the player's in front of you, throw it behind him.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? I know you're looking for a target, but
Why do players overrun it?
because they're idiots.
Then maybe dumbass idiot.
They mistime it. No, but if you're a dummy half, why do you throw the ball forward?
I don't know. I guess you're trying to push. You're just pushing at that limit on that forward pass because they're never like ridiculous forwards.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know, Jimmy. That's
No, I don't think any.
It's just called a mistake, isn't it? That's why we had this conversation. It's a mistake.
It's an error.
Yeah, it's a mistake.
Everyone makes mistakes.
Yeah, I get that, but why
do you knock the ball
Why
off?
would you throw the ball forward? Well, because you drop the catch, but you're not allowed to throw it forward.
Yeah.
So why would you ever throw it forward? Do you know what I mean? Like just make the ball carrier look like a fool.
I think I have an answer because we want to hit the ball where it needs to be hit for the player to receive it.
Okay.
And if you're throwing the ball behind him, that's a bad pass.
Okay. So you'd rather have a forward pass than a bad pass?
No, we wouldn't rather have it, but we're trying to hit the mark that the receiver requires.
So are you gambling that it might pay off?
Yes.
And you might not get called for a forward pass?
Yeah, most of the time.
Yeah.
So it's a gamble.
Yeah.
It is a gamble.
Just back to South before we move on. I'll tell you who I love so much, Tallis Duncan. He's a freak of a player. That play where he sprinted to the loose ball and I think Iongi's going down to pick it up and he grabs it, Iongi knocks it on, and he scored 2 tries. Like he's
he's an actual real deal. And his dad, I think, was in the Navy. So like the way he presents himself and the way he goes about his training and just his life, like very clean, and you know what I mean? So he's got so much growing to do as well. Like he's just getting warmed up. He scored a try in centre and back row on the weekend.
He's got some ticker, which I think everybody that watches NRL like admires players that play with heart and passion and care factor. But it's been a big week on the buy round, hasn't it, Charlie? The pots.
Yeah, this is a chance to gloat. You've done a great job.
I've had a couple of shockers, but refocus, go again.
Pretty much every bet you place hit. I've never seen anything like it. I had $25 in it. You turned it into $150. It was like 3 same game multis that was successful.
From his Ladbrokes tee.
Yes,
and a couple of just anytime try scorers or an anytime try score with Stags got up. Mate, you were on fire. Some of your best work you've ever done on this podcast, even outside of this podcast, including your NRL career. It's one of your great achievements.
Yeah, oh man, and you know when you you get up like that, you do get pretty chuffed.
Yeah, it was awesome.
Like I was devastated last week. Like devastated for our fans, everyone that jumped in on the pot. But
a lot of people didn't trust you.
I know.
A lot less invested this week compared to last.
Yeah.
Now that you've learnt your lesson, the true people who stuck by you, they got the win they deserve.
Yeah. They're laughing all the way to the bank.
100%.
They are laughing all the way to the bank. It's a consistent approach.
6 again this weekend as well.
Yes.
A little bit of a twist on it though, because you're going to be in Cairns at the Cairns Cup on Friday.
We are.
We are, yeah. So there'll be some racing bets in there as well. You're not necessarily going to come up with them yourself. There's a lot of racing experts there from the Ladbrokes team.
I mean, you've got to lean into that.
Of course,
like, I want to be leaning into
It's also,
those.
you go trackside, mate. You find a guy who's, he cleans the toilets there, but he gets good tips, A guy who works the hay. He was on the hay. He's bringing the hay to the horses.
All the haymakers,
but he's seen that horse and he's seen the form, and he'll have some tips for us.
Yeah, I like you thinking we could. Looking forward to getting up to Cairns.
Yeah.
It's going to be a long day.
It is, yeah. It is.
We're at the.
Are you going to wear your suit on the plane?
I don't know because
I might buy a new suit for it because I've only got a tuxedo at the moment.
I do have a bit of an issue with what I wear on the plane because I've got those compression tights on from the varicose vein surgery.
Is that why you got your long pants on?
That's why I've got long pants. I hope I don't think Dr. Stanton is listening, but I don't have them on at the moment because I went to the gym and then just couldn't be bothered.
What are they?
I got my varicose veins out.
What are varicose veins? Sorry.
You ever seen like kickboxers' veins? You know how they're all like sketchy looking?
Yeah.
I thought you meant like jocks. Sorry.
No, the varicose veins, they had to get taken out.
You pommies.
What do you mean? It's not like it's not exclusive to English people. Like everyone all over the planet would get varicose veins, and I had them taken out. But you got to wear these like very attractive compression tights. But I don't know if I want to fly in them. Oh no, I'm going to have to fly in them. But I don't know if I want to wear my suit underneath. So
be a hot day up there as well.
Yeah, so I might just wait.
It'll be a boiling day there. Cairns is always hot.
The other thing from the Byron as well, your interview with Mason and Fielden.
Oh, how good was it?
It was epic, yeah.
Yeah, I was pretty nervous sat in the middle, but learnt a lot about sport, its values, respect, and just crazy how far the game has come in terms of HIAs, protocols, player welfare. But that said, a lot of people look back with fond memories of those times when it arguably was a bit more confrontational and the like. Even Willie talking about his kick pressure on Sean Long, like fracturing his eye socket, and that was just play on. If that's other halfbacks, look, I know Longy very well, really good mate of mine, and he just bounces back up from that. That's just par for the course with him. But it was fascinating just getting in there with the two of them. Obviously, appreciate Stu coming on here on his holiday, and Willie coming on as well. Willie Mason, like it speaks volumes about how far they have both come in what 19, 20 years.
Yeah, so. We maybe should do a few more of those breaking breads. Get some other people who've had beefs together. Have you got any beefs with anyone?
Not that. Nah, yeah, I still got him. So
yeah,
I'm not gonna say.
You're
who.
gonna say who?
I've still got him, so I'm not ready to do a potty with him.
Yeah, you and Sam, like even though you're like really good mates, the two of you together, you could frame it as a breaking bread.
Yeah,
you got Danny Weiler and Ben Teo don't like each other. Josh Mansour, Jason Riccio don't like each other.
Are they off?
We could probably organise a couple of those actually. Yeah,
maybe.
Actually, the Josh Mansour, Jason Demetrio would be a good one.
That would be a good one.
Yeah.
I reckon they'd maybe do it.
Maybe
we'll ask them anyway.
I mean, we'll ask the question.
Let's talk Manly.
Well, before we get into that, because there are today's been a significant day. The printer has printed. Thanks to our friends at Mytronics. There's 6 blokes stood around the printer, all chipping in with what they think may or may not be wrong. Even Brandon Smith brought the attention that maybe it's run out of black ink.
Yeah.
But fundamentally, the printer is Charlie's bought cheap.
Yeah, what did he say? It's a low quality home style.
Yeah. Like these guys have come in thinking, oh, I'm gonna, like this big business print job. It's like, oh,
yeah, this is on the low end of the home quality print service.
Yeah. discontinued.
It has been discontinued, so you can no longer purchase.
What I will
printer.
say this is,
it's a classic.
It's a classic.
It's a classic.
It's a classic. And Tony had a great idea to get you and Jimmy to Brandon and Jimmy to sign it. So it's signed. We're gonna give that printer away because.
Pending my have a look at it without the experts around telling me what to do, because I'm going to try to fix it.
Do you know what?
I love Cheese's determination to get this.
I've got nothing to do. My missus is away in Noosa. I would love to fix that printer.
Yeah.
It's more so to prove everyone wrong, and the fact that I'm a genius.
Like a feel good factor.
Yeah.
Like
everyone like, Brandon, you're a genius.
All right, well, let's just hold the phone.
So we may not give it away. It's signed.
Yeah, it's signed.
Can I say this?
We could give it away, and it's a working printer.
Exactly, but it probably does work. It's just we can't be bothered really to fix it. And the experts came in.
We can be bothered. We brought people in.
I know, but then they needed hours and hours, and like, I mean, we haven't got hours. But I reckon Brandon was making more progress at a rapider rate than the experts, if I'm being honest.
I think he felt a little bit threatened.
I think he did. I think he did. There might have been a job offer to Brandon as well for post-retirement.
But I come from like a home where my partner, if there's an issue, or the last person I'm doing is calling someone else to do a job that I think I can do. So I fix a lot of the stuff when it comes to home. TVs, holes in walls. I do not let people do it.
Yeah. I'm the same.
I don't know. I just...
I'm the same.
I come from a family of like, you make do, you mend, like, do not pay anymore.
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
Getting quotes from like 1,000 people for like £100 job or whatever it is. Like, mum and dad were, scrapping for everything with like penny pinching and anything that could be done. Like, my dad would do some wallpapering jobs, which are absolute, like his time was worth more than what. It was just beyond silly, really, what my dad used to do around the house. Me, absolutely no chance. Just pay for someone to do it.
I've seen so many of my family's like wallpaper jobs, just bubbles.
Yeah. But God forbid you'd pay anyone to do that.
Exactly.
I'll bloody do that. I'll do that.
I'd probably borderline think about paying someone to do my whole walls at home with print. I think that's something I'd probably pay.
Yeah, think about me dad, who was a school teacher. His summer was basically just spent on DIY projects like painting rooms, wallpapering rooms. Could you be
sunblocking his son?
Well, you could sunblocking his son. Yeah. Mate, you know what though? They didn't. That's the bad thing.
They didn't sunblock you. No, sun over there. Sunblock anyway.
No, you do look burnt 24/7.
Seriously,
you're not very freckly though for then a ginger who's being exposed. I'm freckly.
Mate, honestly, as a kid, I remember like we drove to France and like we'd do holidays, and the idea of putting sunblock on, just let your shoulders blister, like bad blisters, like. But I don't know if it's letting my parents off here and just saying that's what it was like then, but
I didn't sunblock.
I don't know. Was it a lack of awareness? Was it ignorance?
Yeah. Cheese and I are a bit darker than
we went to Queenstown with the Roosters, and it was so hot there. And I told the boys, like, mate, they're like sunblocking up. I was like, mate, kiwi sun doesn't burn kiwis. And for the whole camp, I was just so red raw. All the wrestle sessions are so hard. But yeah, the kiwi sun does burn kiwis. So slip, slop, slap.
I was actually speaking to your brother the other day, Jimmy, Chris Graham.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, Chris Graham. He's been in touch.
Has he?
Yeah.
That's
so just
and Wade Graham.
Yeah.
Is Chris Graham? He's your eldest brother.
Yeah, he is my eldest. Brother, yeah. I'm sure he's very insightful.
He's very insightful. Yeah. I look forward to speaking to him more, maybe getting some more information.
I mean, it's a bit weird, that, isn't it?
Yeah.
I think he's after an interview, which.
Well, he did say he's a big fan of the bar and he likes the bar round. Yeah. He's very proud of what we've done at the bar round.
Well, that's good.
He's got some information on you.
Yeah.
From the past, perhaps.
Yeah. Well, we all have childhoods, and so did he. So I'm sure all of his followers would love to hear about all the trials and tribulations
of Chris Graham.
But
Manly, their season's done. It would appear.
It looks that way, doesn't it?
Poor performance from them yesterday.
To be honest, mate, they scored that first set of 6, and pretty much after that, you've got to really question the hunger, the will, the fight, the desire all those things that, despite some injuries, you've just got to bring. They had that magnificent win down in Melbourne, unexpected, and then since then they've lost 3 or 4 in a row. Some big games against the Roosters, which again, honestly, it was like they threw the towel in yesterday, and I think they, not just for the game but for this season. And I could sense it yesterday that the pressure was coming on Seibold, and you don't like it, but it's a reality of the situation.
Yeah, but on the flip side of that, does this make Tigers' season a success?
Oh shit! Yeah,
with a win like that,
mate, it's huge, mate.
What are they sitting on the ladder? Are they
11th now?
11th.
9 wins, 12 losses.
Mate, nine. Like, this is an overwhelming pass in terms of the performance. I think when we review the season, and look, they look in better shape now with the couple of young lads moving on. But I still don't necessarily think that's a good thing long term. But it does appear to have had a short-term positive effect. Whether or not that would have come with or without those two players, we will never know. But Tigers, the results that they've achieved and their level of performance, massive tick. Like, huge for Benji, huge for the club. Their supporter base can be optimistic about the future. They'll sort of start to dare to dream about next year and improvements. And
I reckon top 8's probably a minimum for them next year, given the trajectory they're on. They're going to go from last to 11th. They got Kai Pearce-Paul coming next year. They got a couple other fringe first graders. Also, Taylor May gets more time. Like, he's been incredible for them since he came there.
He's such a good pickup for them.
Unbelievable player.
Adam Dewey.
Yep. Is he the halfback?
Oh, I don't know. I don't know if he's better at 13.
I like him at halfback.
Yeah, he's doing well, but then if they're going to have Latu Fainu on the bench and they're going to try unlock his potential, I think he needs to be 7. And maybe Dewey then goes in at 13. Plus, if Dewey was the starting 7, he would have got more dough.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Where I think it's hard because he is playing well at 7, but I just think he's probably better suited all round for the team at lock.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I dare say if they have another, how many games? 3 games left?
3 games to go.
3 games with him at halfback. Let's just say they win all 3.
Yeah.
You'd be pushing a case to he'd have to stay there.
But
even if they won 2 out of the 3, it's
these are good problems to have.
Yeah.
For Benji and that football club.
Galvin leaving ultimately for the group was a good thing as well because it sort of galvanised them together.
No,
yeah.
Well done, mate. You like that though? You like the galvanising?
I think it has created a tighter knit group, and obviously talent in the mix as well. There, it's created a bit of a you're in or you're out, and it appears to have made them tighter. They look more connected.
It's kind of like the opposite for the Dogs.
And we'll get to that.
Yeah. Speaking of something that pissed you off, apparently you hate the dummy-half pass into the player rule.
We will get into that.
Let him cook.
This is really pissing me off, but we'll cover Manly first. And does Seibold have enough runs on the board? Questions are going to come. When you look at their season, a couple of injuries, like a lot of sides, but just that performance yesterday was so bad, and that's not a one-off. That's happened a couple of times. And the look on DCE's face at the end of the game, where the camera was on him in the dressing room, and his head was down. He was staring at the floor. And I think it's that realisation that it's definitely over with Manly, and he would have watched the Roosters against the Bulldogs, and maybe there's some realisation there that it is over. I know what that's like when you come into that end and you think, I'm done. And it had that look about it. Now, DC's made a strong stuff. We don't know, the full detail of the deal or the potential deal with the Roosters. But I'm a bit torn on it because at the end of the day, the Roosters are still 8th, right? And we've seen the difference Walker has made. But then, Savala comes in and he's done really well. But when you've got young players and a lot of them, we see potential, but the gap between the best and the worst is quite vast. Like, does DCE bring that, close that gap? I don't know.
Well, they were top 4 last year, Roosters, without with Sam Walker and Cheese obviously playing for them. And obviously they lost some players like Jared Weir-Hargraves and Suoli'i, Manu, Luke Keary. But all those guys that lost, like the replacements have played quite well. Like, in all honesty, since Sam Walker came back, like if you were fit and Sam Walker was fit, the Roosters probably are a top 4 team as they are currently with that current roster.
Yeah, I mean, Sam Walker has been, like, I don't think I've ever seen him play as good as he did, like, on the weekend. But, no, they've got a great young crop of young players coming through. Like, the people like Nafahu White, who's, like, he's arguably one of the best props in the game at the moment. Like, at least top 5. And then you got Blake Steep and all these young fellas that are coming through. Even Benaya, who's bloody much took my spot. Thanks, mate. He's a really good player. And it's been they've had them in that system for a long time, and they've been able to grow and learn from those older fellas. So, and you can just see how much confidence they've grown over the season. Like, it started off pretty slow. Obviously, they weren't going too great, but now the things are starting to kick into gear, and it's so strange how the Roosters do that. Like, every year, like even before I was there, it's always a bad start to the season, then just a late lunge and push to their best footy, and that's why they're quite intimidating to play in the finals, because they've got a lot of momentum behind them. So
that Fekete, who comes off the bench, is a goer as well.
Yeah.
Like, man, he's small. He's not the biggest bloke in the world, but he brings some spice to the contest. I think they're getting the best out of Spencer Leniu as well.
Yeah,
in recent weeks.
He started on the weekend.
Yeah,
as well.
and obviously Nafahu White is getting a lot of the headlines, but don't underestimate that Spencer's dragging all of those players with him, like his influence. But
Victor Radley on the edge was good as well.
Radley was really good on the edge. Yeah. I guess these questions are going to continue around. Do they?
They don't need him though. In all honesty, like it's hard for DCE though, because the Roosters, if they backflipped on him, which DCE has done in the past, the Gold Coast Titans, so he can't be too disappointed. You got to do what's best for the club and yourself. But where would he go? The Manly job's been filled by Jamal Fogarty. There's no other club that would really necessarily take DCE unless it's like the Dragons or someone of that nature. Like, I don't really know where he would go. But for the Roosters, it's obviously not the best move for them.
Well, he retires. He doesn't go to the Dragons. I think the reason he went through what he went through and on display was to go to a club that he thought could win a premiership. He's not doing what he did to go and help the Dragons make the finals, which, with all due respect, that's what the best they could arguably hope for with the acquisition of a DCE.
Well, it's quite a big drama for Roosters, to be quite fair, because they're going to lose Sandon Smith, like 100%. And like, they're a massive chance of losing Hugo Savala. And like, he's a player that you can really, like, I could see him, being a club built around him, because the way he plays, he's quite like, he's only 23, I think. So he's starting to come into like those prime years of a halfback. Well, they age pretty well. But his kicking game is something that is just, there's not many great kickers out there at the moment. Like, you've got all the great kickers are old dogs. Like
DCE.
Like DCE, Hunt, Adam Reynolds. Like, those are all the great kicking games that of the era now. Like Sione Katoa,
Izzy Katoa, sorry. Matt Burton's got a great kicking game as well.
Yeah. But Izzy Katoa, I feel like that's the last Arsenal that he needs to work on for his game. But Hugo Savala's got that, and he can learn the others, and he's really fit. So It's going to be a massive, massive loss if they lose him over for DCE for a 1 year contract.
Yeah,
you lose 2 of your guys you've built.
If you're Savala though, can you hang around for a year?
Do you want to?
Well, you don't want to. It's
he's
not
a Roosters junior. So and he was working at the bookmaker. His dad runs a bookmakers in Randwick, I think.
Yeah.
He's like a professional gambler as well. Hugo Savala, like rugby league isn't his own income stream, is what I've been told. But he's on $80,000 a year at the moment.
Wow.
And they're talking about DCE coming on a 2-year deal worth $1 million.
Not 2 years. You can't do 2 years.
No, that's what the talk was though. A 2-year deal, worth $800,000 to $900,000 a year.
I think you maybe massage it and say, give DCE a year, and Hugo like maybe the 14, but then they've got Connor Watson there and Reece Robson.
Well, exactly. So he can't play the 14 role. It's a tough one.
There's always injuries.
You know, it was funny. You got the two different. Danny Wilder wrote in his column that there's no way the Roosters would do that, and then Nick Politis will stick to his word on DCE. And then you've got the Daily Telegraph Buzz reporting that they basically saying that they should get rid of him. Well, I think Buzz is right though. Like there would be the smart move to not bring DCE to the Roosters and back what you've got, because all these players are going to get better. Like you just don't need it.
And that's it. Like there's no right or wrong answer for the Roosters and Nick Politis if this deal has been agreed. That obviously has been widely spoken about, because yes, you're a man of your word, you're a man of principle, you never break your word. But at the end of the day, you've got this love of the Roosters and what's best for everybody else. Like, and it would tug at the heartstrings of a man with such integrity and such values, where you go, do I break my word, which is my bond, but is my love for the Roosters and what's best for everybody in the situation has changed? Or does he convince himself or be convinced that the team is better with DCE in it for next year? And that's part of the ruthless nature of dealing with issues like this, because you can't move away from the fact that they are still 8th.
Yeah.
And recent form suggests that that's not reflective of the side that they are.
If Sam Walker was there at the start of the year, where would they be? Top 4.
Mate, he's
top 4.
I genuinely think they can be a better team with DCE there, but the long-term effects are just they're so much worse.
Well, if you can,
I just like if DCE's got that forward pack and that go forward, like he can be, he's not really getting what he needs to get from Manly.
Yeah,
become the player. Like when he plays Origin, he becomes a better player.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. But behind that forward pack and with Sam Walker, lingering around, and like he could do some good things there, but you just lose 2 people that you've brought through the system for a 1-year fix or a 2-year fix even.
Yeah. Or maybe you go to DCE and look at a coaching role, but I can't.
Well, that's the thing. They could offer him a coaching role, a job, like in the back staff there, and maybe it's
nowhere near them.
Maybe
you couldn't pay him.
Well, Nick Lyle's a billionaire. He can do whatever he wants.
You can't pay him $800,000 to be assistant coach.
No, but not assistant coach. But you could probably pay him $800,000 to be an executive for a year. To be part of there's caps and other spots. If he wanted to,
there's a football.
Yeah, I know,
cap.
but for the coaches and stuff. But I can't imagine like the media manager is included in the football soft cap. Like they're not. So you could offer him a job. He could offer him. Politis has other big companies.
Yeah, but he's a billionaire. He's not throwing $800,000 around for free.
Well, it depends.
Billionaires don't do that.
Depends what he thinks more important to the club.
But no, to that Manly game, there was a penalty that was given that is beyond pissed me off, because another one happened in that, and I'm more pissed off about this in the Penrith game against Melbourne than the field goal situation. So in the game Tigers v Manly kicked the ball down. Tigers just get out their own in goal. They're literally under the posts, right? So it's very difficult. That next run is incredibly difficult. They're near the post, so you've got the proximity of the goal post and the pads there. Api Coruscant gets the dummy half. Tommy Tiborovic is on his knees, upright, and blocking the path of the pass to the intended target. Api throws the pass. Now, people can argue whether that was intentional or not, but Tommy Tiborovic has no right to be there. He should not be allowed to be there. He is in the wrong. Api throws the ball. The referee gives a penalty to Manly for a not in the spirit of the game penalty. It is beyond a joke because teams are now practicing this, putting themselves in this position to stop attacking football and gain penalties when they don't have the ball. The example I'm referring to on so now if I see that as a coach, when my kick chase team go down, get 3 in the tackle, and the person at the legs, because the likelihood of a shift happening is minimal, less likely. So you don't need as many players. You can defend with 12. Get one of your players to be just lay around in the ruck and make the job and basically cut off one side of the ball, one side of the field of play, and you make life more difficult for the opposition. Teams should start to tactically do that. Lurk around the ruck, and you don't get penalised. You win a penalty if they throw it into you. The example in the Melbourne-Penrith game, Penrith were struggling to get out yardage, and here's where Melbourne, I think, I make a case for, I think that if it went back and observed their play, they would do this. Play 4 into 5 when a team's coming out of yardage, so the play before the last. Put 3 in the tackle. The legs player, because again, a shift is very unlikely. The play around the legs, stay in the ruck, block the path, which is exactly what Lasati did. He's no rush to get back on side. He doesn't rush to get back on side because there's no point. In fact, he's probably under instruction to do that. Mitch Kenny tries to pass the ball to Nathan Cleary, hits Lasati. The referee goes, play on. The ball somehow ends up at Dylan Edwards and he grubbers it down, giving Melbourne way better field position. Now, the referee gone, play on. So Klein bottled it. He didn't want to give a penalty either way, which he should have done.
He stuffed up the one in Origin as well, actually, Klein. When Connor Watson passed in, he gave the penalty to New South Wales when it should have been for Queensland.
Yes. I think that's right. He should.
No, but the letter of the law says otherwise.
That rule is complete and utter bollocks. It is pissing me off because Harry Grant, if you go back and watch Sorensen's try, Harry Grant lays in the ruck. Actually, Mitch Kenny does a really good job. He's lay there one side, so he's cutting off the attack or the path of the pass. Sorensen goes over, but go back and watch where Harry Grant's lay. That's by design. Like, geez, you as a dummy half, like, it is stupid we've allowed this to happen. I know that Melbourne were doing it on purpose, just throwing the ball
Cam
in.
Smith was doing
it. Cam was doing some crazy ones. He was throwing people on the ground, like laying down. Throwing it down at them.
Give it to the referee's discretion. I'd rather that than this, what we're seeing at the moment.
Yeah, no, I've noticed in the last 2 games I've played, like I don't know. Like I don't know if it's on purpose or not because we don't practice it. But just the amount of times that it's sort of a quick play the ball and you can't really capitalise on it because there's a guy laying in front of you
in your lane.
Or there was one last week where I don't know who it was, can't remember. But they were just standing in between me and the pass to the kicker on the last, and I had to double pump it. And then I had to run forward and pass. And by the time I had done that, the defence was a metre away from our kicker and he's put in a shit kick. And then I'm sort of getting the blame. And then I'm talking to the ref and it's just play on.
Yeah. You don't know if it's by design or it's on purpose. I'll tell you now it is because it's a win at all costs and you exploit the rules and teams are exploiting that rule just like they're exploiting staying down. Like, we heard about Jaden Campbell the other week in that game against South Sydney. Coaches are now instructing their players to stay down in those moments, which fundamentally is not what our game is about. We need to give more discretion to the referee. We accept their decision, but not like we can't have players laying in the ruck. It's too consequential. Yeah, it is beyond a joke. It's really got me so fired up.
Yeah, only thing I'll say on that. Sorry, you go, Chase.
No, I was just on that game as well when we played Titans. I remember I tried to tackle Jaden Campbell and I hit him straight across the nose, like with my fist, and it actually fucking hurt my hand. But I got him down, and then when he got up, he said, "Don't worry, bro, I won't lay down." And I was like,
Yeah.
As bad as it was for his team, but inside I was like, "Fuck, that's a guy I like to play." I was thinking, "Well, that's a guy I like to play with."
Jastavonga on the weekend in the Manly Tigers game, he tried to stay down, didn't get a penalty, gets up and just laughs.
Yeah, they got sent for HIA.
He just fucking laughed.
Yeah, that's
like, are you taking the piss? Like, that is not our game. He stays down and then laughs about it. Get him off the field. We can't be, if it's a player welfare issue, get off the field. Yeah. It's pissing me off because you've got Cam McInnes, who ruptures his ACL, that stays on for 3 tackles. You've got that, and you've got, like, people just being soft. But, like, and again, we spoke with Willie Mason and Stuart Field, and we don't want to go back to that. But where's people's integrity? Back in when we played, if someone stayed down, you'd be cheering. We've got him hurt. We've got him injured. Now you don't see it because they're going, "Oh shit, we're going to give a penalty away," because they're milking it, they're faking it, they're phoning it. Yeah. They're just it's so bad for the game. And I know viewing figures are up. I know interest in the game is up. But there's people that actually, like myself, speaking to people in the street, they actually care about the game. And this is not what our game is about. If you want to lie down and fake it, fuck off and play football, soccer. Go and play something else.
Because that's the hard part about watching soccer is the diving and all that stuff.
That's so
but I wonder if that's the coaches encouraging players to stay down. And
because because it's an environment where this is encouraged, Charlie. So I'm annoyed at the player.
Rewarded by referees.
And rewarded. Yeah. So those two things, the staying down is gone. It's taking the piss when you've got players laughing.
Yeah.
And the idea that you're allowed to lay in the ruck, like, where's the reward for good attack?
Yeah.
Like we are. I wasn't here last week, but what did you think of Mitch Moses' dive?
Like,
that was one of the old times I've ever seen.
Like
Harry's was a dive as well, though.
Of course, Harry's was a dive.
Yeah. But then,
I don't like that rule. Where for some reason we've had blockers in the rule. We've allowed blockers to be at play since 1895 when the game was introduced, and 1908 here. We've allowed blockers, but all of a sudden, a few coaches complain because you can't get to Nathan. Right, and I thought we're protecting the kickers. So the blockers do a job of protecting the kickers because, God forbid, you'd lay a finger on them and one of them falls over, you get a penalty. So we're all about protecting the kickers, but we're going to remove the blockers. I just don't understand where we're going. Like, do you want to protect the kickers or not? And the blockers, were they that bad?
No, they
weren't that bad. And you know what? Fucking get round them. Because you know when I was playing, I'd fucking get round them.
Yeah.
I'd get round them or shove them out the way.
Yeah.
It's a joke.
Yeah.
Like, why is that play? And nothing against Harry Grant. He plays to the rules of engagement. But so what? Like, honestly, for the people that make the decisions or our fans out there, if you're a Melbourne fan, if you're a Penrith fan, is that what you want to see? Is it? Because I don't think it is. It's not what I want to see.
Yeah. It's a shame because for Harry, he's done the right thing by his team. They win the game. He's done the right thing, obviously.
But he should have. But Charlie, you know what? If he just ran into Mitchell Moses, ran into Moses Leota and put his hands up.
Yeah.
But he runs past him because he's actually a very fit and he's a competitor, Harry Grant.
Yeah, he thinks he's a chance.
He runs past him to go and block the kick of Nathan Cleary. And also, he's got in the back of his mind the fact that he got penalised a couple of weeks ago for putting kick pressure on in that Manly game, which they lost. So he got that in the back of his mind. He runs past Moses Leota and then goes, "Oh, shit, he's a blocker. I should have took myself out," puts his hand back and then rolls. And you're like, I don't want to watch that. I don't want to support that. I don't want to encourage that play on any stretch of the imagination.
Yeah. And they got rid of that for obstruction. Like, so if you're going to start, like the start of this year said, if you dive for an obstruction when in try scoring moments, we're going to not award that. So why don't they just do the same for all diving then?
Well, they obviously didn't do that because Mitchell Moses is the biggest diver I've ever seen in my life.
But also on that field goal, Melbourne are offside.
Yeah.
They're offside.
Yeah.
They're not interfering with play, but they're offside. So give Penrith the penalty.
Yeah.
It's like
I don't want to see that.
no, I don't think anybody does.
Yeah.
Give me a blocker protecting the kickers. Look, when they were stood right next to the markers, get fucking round.
It's hard
them.
because they did change the blocker rule, so you have to be in if you're you have to be behind the dummy half, and you have to be in a position where you can catch the ball.
Perfect.
So if you, that's what the rule is.
Yeah.
So if you can't be up too flat anymore.
Yeah.
Which they used to do because you used to make them go the inside lane.
Yeah.
Inside shoulder lane, so you'd have a better chance at kicking. But now that he's trying to stand in a catching position, he's now in the line of the kicker. So it's like, and to be fair, in Moses Leota's defense, how the fuck is he meant to know where Nathan Cleary is?
And the fact that it was off a line break, the fact that it was early in the tackle count, like basically what this rule does, it stops the reactionary field goal. And instead, it promotes the 1 up, 2 up, 3 up, boring. Okay, we're going to settle for the field goal. Nathan Cleary's gone, bang, we're on a line break. Give me the ball. Yeah, hot, hot, hot. No, that's gone now because you're almost... it's impossible to clear that lane.
Yeah.
Like, impossible.
And it hurts that he slotted it too.
Yeah. It was a great game.
It was a
great game.
It was a game that I thought...
Xavier Coates, like, how good is he to watch? Like, surely we'd want to watch his brilliance decide a game, or a Nathan Cleary piece of brilliance than that. Or a Harry Grant piece of brilliance, which did, but unfortunately we're not. Harry Grant, that play, the insight that we got where there was, they talked about that, maybe a show and go, brilliant. How good is that to win a game? But unfortunately, you've got a multitude of incidences where one referee bottled it, and another one where you've got this stupid rule that for me wasn't affecting the game.
Appy did. We're going back to the Appy thing now. Is that what you're referring to?
No, that was the Melbourne game.
Yeah.
The Appy one, like
Appy did intentionally pass into Turbo though.
He didn't.
Yes,
Turbo shouldn't be there.
No, but I know Turbo should be there, but Appy did look at him and pass
I'm telling you now, you got no idea how difficult those carries are.
Yeah.
In those situations, you got no idea how difficult those are, or where the pass should be going or not going. Charlie, I don't.
You don't think Appy intentionally did it?
No, I don't.
Yeah.
Tom Trbojevic is in a position he shouldn't be in.
Yeah.
And that's final.
Well, Tom Troy should have
for
to,
me, that should be fine.
Tom Troy is on one knee there. He should have to collapse to get flat to get out of the way.
Yeah.
Make active movements to get out of the way.
Yeah, if you watch all games back in the day, well, not so long ago, mate. If there was someone running back, everyone would drop.
Yeah.
Or if you were in the ruck, people would roll out.
Yeah.
And be flat.
Dead Marie, just get out the way.
Yeah.
That was how it was played.
Because you were worried about
now you're almost encouraged to get on your fours, so it's more of a difficult.
Well, teams are doing it. Like I say, play 4 into 5, put 3 in that tackle, slow it down, and just lay down.
Because they're not going to pass. Coaching staff, hey boys.
And also, while you're at it, if you get a little scratch, stay down.
Yeah, they did it for a little while, for a couple of weeks. Anyone who'd stayed down, they took them to the HIA.
Yeah.
They abandoned that for some reason. I don't know. Tavares should have just gone straight to the HIA.
He should have been.
It didn't decide the game because Manly got pumped.
Yeah.
I'll tell you what, Seibold, the pressure is on Seibold in a major, major way now. Obviously, there's a few jobs that are going to potentially become available. It's almost like who's going to pull the trigger first, because the Manly coach is under pressure, Knights coach is under pressure. Des seems like he's gone at the Titans. Who else? Cowboys, Todd Payton. It's sort of going to be who's the first to pull the trigger. But I reckon the Manly job is the best job. Of all the different jobs, yes, the Cowboys have a really good roster there, but that Manly roster and the young players got coming through, would be an incredible job for an NRL coach.
You're right, Charlie. I guess this isn't anything against the more experienced coaches that don't have a job, or the young and up and coming coaches, or ones that are. But there's a lot of, I guess, out of where coaches or assistant coaches that are roughly speaking around about the same level. There's not a Coach Serraldo had been touted and spoken about for so long before Hasler got the the Titans job, he would have been seen as like, oh, if we need an experienced coach, a premiership winner, yeah, we go to him.
Yeah.
But there's no like, oh, if we don't move, because if you don't get Hannay, you maybe go and get a Willie Peters. If you don't get Willie Peters, you maybe go a Dean Young, or a Hornby, or a Michael Innes, or a Chad Randall, like or you go Jason Demetrio, or a Brad Arthur. They're all around about the same with different pros and cons. There's no like number one standout where a team is going, if we don't move. So it's, I don't know if we'll see this, because you know, we're speaking about Newcastle, we're speaking about Cowboys, we're speaking about the Titans, you know, and Manly, and I don't know if there's that level of pressure to make a decision just yet.
Yeah, well, that's why they haven't. But the Titans want Josh Hannay, and the Cowboys potentially want Josh Hannay if they want to move on from Todd Payton. So there's a little bit of urgency if they do see that Josh Hannay is the best candidate. Because there's two clubs there that want him. Well, maybe Manly goes, yeah, we might have a look at Josh Hannay as well. And which job's the best? If you had which one? It's either the Cowboys or Manly, really.
For me, like, look, respect Josh Hannay and the coaching journey that he's been on. But for me, of all those coaches that we spoke about, Willie Peters should be the one. Like, based off what he's done at Hull KR, like, he's had a team, he's built a team, and he's not only just taken them to the top of the league, he's won the Challenge Cup, which a lot of Australian viewers maybe don't have much of an association with, but that is a huge deal for Hull KR to lift the trophy. Like, it's been a long time. They beat Wigan on the weekend. They're top of the league. Like, you can't do much more. They were in the grand final last year as well. Like, he's built a very, very compelling case for why he's the next big cab off the rank, based off that body of evidence, rather than a number of assistant roles in big systems, or I've worked with this player or that player.
And just listening to that, it sort of is exactly what those teams need.
Yeah.
Someone that's going to come and restructure the team, bring other players, because obviously he's done a great job recruiting.
Yeah.
Like, I think he's got a fair idea on the game, but just rebuilding a club from ground up, and it seems like he's got like the evidence to prove it.
And also, Charlie, like you say, like, the preferred candidate may be a Josh Hannay, but again, I don't think they're sat there going, oh, if we miss him,
I understand.
it's a what could have been. Do you know what I mean? Because if they do decide they need to move, they go and bring somebody else in, which is still a positive candidate that results could come with.
It's sort of like, is Josh Hannay or Brad Arthur or thing better than Todd Payton? And it's like, you can't really say yes or no.
Yeah.
It's
a bit of limbo happening at the moment. Like,
what did you think of Matt King at the Roosters?
Yeah, again, an assistant coach is just like, it's hard for me to judge what an assistant coach does, especially under people like Craig Bellamy and Trent Robinson, where they have a big impact on the decisions being made. Like, it's a different ball game. Like, you're only seeing him for one side of the field,
right? Not
both sides of the field. So he's obviously got a great footy brain, but it's hard to say what he could do in a because it's a completely different role. Like, with an assistant coach, you can be pretty much the class clown, joke around and like have jokes with the boys and that. But as a head coach, it's a little bit different. It's way more intense, and the pressure's all on you. No one's complaining about how shit the assistant coaches are at these teams.
Yeah,
I think I've spoken about this before, where Andy Farrell, the Lions coach, and when he was at Ireland, I think he put it in the percentages of around about X's and O's. Actual like coaching is roughly speaking 20%. Again, I'm paraphrasing here, of the actual job. It's more about people management, which again, if you're looking for someone that's had practice in that, the assistant coaches arguably haven't. Now, I know there are a number of examples. Penrith, that's more of a systems approach with Cam Serraldo and Webster, that Newcastle and the Bulldogs. But in terms of that mainly people management aspect and dealing with the week-to-week proposition of first grade football, then Willie Peters is surely your target.
Yeah. Well, if you're talking man management, I got to get Sammy Burgess.
Yeah. But unfortunately, Warrington aren't. They're making improvements. They made the cup final as well. Yeah. Sam Burgess would be.
Yeah.
Another
and
strong.
And Perth were looking at him like if it's 80% man management, he'd be amazing.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, the Knights, they're in the wooden spoon race well and truly. Now they got absolutely pumped by the Cowboys. It's a tough day for them because they've just got so many injuries.
Yeah, it's hard. I don't know if Gold Coast can.
Gold Coast just got to win.
Yeah, but
win one game, man. They play the Warriors. They play the Warriors this week, and they always beat the Warriors, the Titans. All Warriors fans will know that. Titans are their bogey team.
But I was at Shark Park on Saturday, and they looked like they were ready for a holiday.
Yeah.
And you know what?
But you know what the Titans are like, mate. They can just randomly pull out performance.
Yeah, they can pluck things, but
who's in the 8 race?
Well, right now the Roosters climbed to the 8th. The Dolphins are in 9th.
Yeah,
it's only the top 9. Everyone in 10th and 11th.
So
Manly's gone. Manly, if they win every game, can get to 12 wins, 12 losses, but they're 4 and against.
So Tigers can get to 12 wins.
Tigers can get to 12 wins. Yeah, the Tigers play the Cowboys this weekend, and then they've got another winnable game. The Titans in the final round of the season. I can't remember if they got in round 26, but even if they win, mate, their 4 and against is so poor. Like you're gonna need 13 wins.
Yeah. Who's got 11 wins? The Roosters.
Roosters, yeah,
and then up.
Yeah.
I think there's one spot available.
Where's the Sharks?
Sharks are good. They got 13 wins. Plus got the bye this weekend. They're sweet.
Yeah, I think there's one spot left, which Roosters look primed. Dolphins need to win probably 2 of their remaining 3.
And they're winnable games.
Yeah.
Like, Dolphins play Manly this week.
So do Dolphins have one more win?
Or Dolphins have one less win. Dolphins are 10 wins.
But their 4 and against is crazy, isn't it?
It's incredible.
But it's not.
The Roosters has really improved over the last.
Well, they got that big win against the Dolphins,
exactly,
like that,
which just changed everything.
It may come down to Souths v Roosters, last game of the season. So, Cheese, it's on you, and like big game for Souths to maybe beat the Roosters, and then if the Raiders rest, they play.
Which the Raiders will rest.
Well,
I think,
the Raiders play the Dolphins round 27, last game of the season on the Sunday, and the Raiders will have a finals game, their first at home semi, which will probably be the Saturday. So only 6 days.
I'm thinking they're resting.
They're resting for sure.
Yeah,
you'd have to. It'd be silly.
Tarpany, Hudson Young,
or are they doing the
weeks?
The sort of Melbourne approaches to rest like in the weeks prior.
I know,
singly.
Yeah.
The thing is, though, Cheese, the fact that it's a 6-day turn and the travel game. I know, obviously, the Raiders they travel every second week, but for them to get to, it's at KO Stadium as well, Redcliffe, so it's not just in a. I just can't see them playing full strength.
Yeah, I think they'll rest for sure. The Dolphins go to Manly this Saturday, then they're at home to the Titans, at home to Raiders, and then the Roosters on the other hand. Now the Roosters have a really tough game. Round 26, they play the Melbourne Storm, which is Craig Bellamy's 600th game as well as coach, but. This weekend, they've got Parramatta away. Then they've got, as I said, Melbourne Storm. And then they finish the season against the Bunnies, like you just said. I'll tell you what, the Bunnies will be up for that. Oh. They will be up for that. That's not Eels isn't an easy game, like by any stretch of the imagination. Melbourne is unwinnable for the Roosters, probably down there. Craig Bellamy 600, you'd think.
I think maybe playing them's a tough game no matter what.
Yeah. And then, Friday, it's going to be, I might go to that game, Roosters Bunnies.
That'd be good. It'd be a good game.
Who do you reckon's going to make it then? Chookies or Dolphins?
Roosters.
Yeah,
I think they'll get enough wins.
Cheese.
I'm not going to comment.
But you touched on it before though. Cam McInnes ACL.
Mate, devastated for him. I messaged him on Saturday night. We're going to have a catch up, mate. I was speaking to a few people I was at the game with, and I was watching Cam warm up and just talk, like singing his praises, and then that happened. And honestly, I reckon he's the toughest person I've ever met. Like ever. Like, and you look at like the size of him.
That's quite a compliment.
He's the toughest. James Roby would go close, but Cam McInnes, like where he stands in places to expose himself to big collisions. He did it again on the weekend where he stands to make that first contact off the kickoff, which really I don't know if I'm okay with the front rowers letting him do that. I used to say at the Dragons, mate, get away.
Yeah.
Like he'd try and stand at 5 to make I was like, Cam, can you piss off, please? Because this is it's my duty to make this tackle. And he'd be like, oh, but I was like, Cam, we need you running the ball. Mate, you're not, I love that you want to make 60 tackles, but we don't need you to make that. That's a bit of my job. You go, and even defend. A lot of dummy halves, Isaac Luke used to do it, like defend at 4, because they're there for the attack, and Cam brings stuff to the attack. Obviously, he's a lock forward now, but mate, the toughness that he plays with, like you come across a lot of 10 out of 10s in terms of dedication and preparation. He's a 10 out of 10, and there's some people there is no higher ceiling. They're at absolute capacity. He is one of them, but the situations he puts himself in, he's the toughest player I've ever played with, against, or faced. It's incredible what he does.
Yeah, mate, that footage of like where he obviously does his ACL, gets back into the line and doesn't just like run up, he charges into that hit. Like he sprints out of the line, and it's like far out. Like how you can even.
I don't know. Oh fuck! I wouldn't have been able to stand up with my ACL. Honestly,
yeah,
I was screaming in agony.
You did your ACL and MCL, didn't you? And PCL in that injury?
Nah. But just to think. Oh, I don't know what it's like without it, but just to think about snapping it and trying to play, be fun.
The Sharks have a big leadership void to fill there, especially as finals is on the approach. Which, I don't know if they can.
They can. I reckon they're making up the numbers. The Sharks, anyway.
I don't know. I think if they play through Brayley,
they can beat good teams.
Yeah,
that's the thing.
I know
they're very good at beating. That's not been like this year. It's been apparent, but like in the past years, it hasn't. Like they've been losing to teams that they shouldn't be losing to, but they have beaten some big dogs.
Melbourne,
they beat Melbourne, and if they play like that. But should we get into our instant classic, Charlie?
All right, let's do it. Thanks to Classic, Jimmy.
It is, isn't it? The links in the bio. But honestly, if you're thinking about getting your sporting club attire, make sure you check out Classic Sportswear. They're not just about the NRL, the Super League. They are for community sports as well, and they're a great sponsor of the show. And we do, what is it, end of the month?
Wait till you see what we have coming.
Is it end of the month?
Yeah, it's getting close. It's getting really close. You're gonna love it. I think it's gonna be one of the best things we produce from the buy around, and we wouldn't have been able to do it without Classic.
No, you're right.
It's gonna be amazing. I think it could change the game of podcasting as we know it.
Ooh,
could change the game.
I don't know about that.
Of rugby league merch as we know it. It's gonna be an absolute game changer.
It's gonna be good. I wouldn't go that far, but the instant classic is the Battle of Brisbane, the back and forth nature of the game. Reece Walsh, it's great to see him lighting up the stage. The short side raids where he swings late was like a thing to watch. Like when he's on like that, he's. I don't know if there's a more exciting player, like a more. Yeah, I don't know if there's a more exciting player to watch when he gets the game by the scruff of the neck.
Yeah, he's a freak. He is a freak. Like he is just like, it was good to see him not in the knee brace as well.
Yes.
I don't know if that was a psychological thing, but he just seemed to move so much more freer.
Well, I think the strapping arguably was holding him back, because I think they put that strapping on to limit your range of movement rather, which obviously
it made a huge difference. Though, it seemed to, and even I think does he like being the alpha? Like, oh yeah, no Adam Reynolds, no Ezra Mann. He's like the man in the spine.
It's a little ego tickle.
Yeah.
No, yeah, he's. Oh, I didn't get to watch the second half of the game because I was preparing for my game, but yeah, he just looked a lot more fluid on his movements. You know what I mean? He just looked. I've been saying it for weeks. It just, when he had the tape on, it just looked real clunky the way he ran. But it's a very good sign for Brisbane going into the finals with him firing like that. Yeah, huge win for the Bronx. We spoke about the Dolphins. The Broncos now, with the Warriors getting that win, which I don't know if they should have with that obstruction, but...
No, that was a terrible call.
He's a hater, right?
No, that was a terrible call. I agree. I was there live at that game in Auckland. I was actually in Auckland for the game.
Yeah.
It's terrible, mate.
That's a good life.
And for all of the stuff, the Dragons had 3 HIAs for them to fight, and then it was a terrible call.
Yeah, but the Warriors. Sorry, the Broncos. They're a chance of the top 4, and I think they got some winnable games as well coming up from memory. There's no like shockingly bad one. I wonder if they maybe look to rest and freshen a few people up.
They got the Knights this weekend. The Broncos. They've also got final round of the season. They play the Storm, which we think everyone will rest.
Yeah, didn't they do that last year? It was the year before.
2023, they played the Storm in round 27, and then the Storm week 1 of finals.
Yeah. And the first they played like honestly the New South Wales Cup side.
Yeah.
So look, depending on what the Storm do, some winnable games there for the Bronx. But I worry about them in finals. I know the patch-up job and the move Walters and Hunt in the halves worked, but had the Dolphins been a bit more clinical and a few moments, that we were looking at a different story. I think great to see Walsh back, but they got away with that one, Brisbane, in my opinion. Staggs was enormous, but
he loves playing the Dolphins, doesn't he?
Doesn't he just? He's a phenomenal player. But yeah, that Warriors game, and I know probably it wasn't going to be spoken about much, but that I've gone back and watched a couple of obstructions. That even the Taylor May try, it's bad, Like I didn't realize how much Fayunu was in front. I've gone back and watched it because we called that game for radio, and it was like, it's not an obstruction. No, it is. He's affecting the play.
Yeah.
And on that one the Warriors got away with, like he skipped out. So and King Tong, and we spoke earlier about making a meal of things and diving, but like he's in the path.
Yeah.
He's in the path of the defender, which he's blocking the defender. He's obstructing the defender.
Yeah.
And his movement by skipping to the outside, he initiates that. It's not the defender initiating the contact. The skip line.
What? So he bounces on the out.
He bounces on the out, and then King Tong is he probably doesn't try his best, and probably scores anyway. But I don't think you should be allowed to do that. I don't think that should be a legal play.
No. Well, usually when you have like a bounce line, you never pass out the back because it's always going to be an obstruction.
Exactly, and he does a bounce line, goes out the back, and then goes into that hole.
Like that's like the rule.
Yeah. But credit to the Dragons. Like I think with the 3 HIAs, which was
hostile
horrible
crowd as well.
Yeah.
Like mate, Warriors Stadium is so loud. Yeah. Like it feels like it almost feels as loud as like the grand final. Like being there, it's crazy. And then they're singing songs. And I met the Warriors CEO Cameron George as well. He was sitting down on the field. Limited security, I'll say, at the Warriors. We wanted to walk on the field to get over to the other side because it was a quicker way to get to our commentary box. We just walked on the field. No one even said anything. When we went there, we had our pass on. No one stopped us anything. We were just on the field, walked up.
Oh, you got your pass on.
Yeah, but there was no one to check that we had our pass, is what I mean. I just got on the field. It was a relaxed. I know we went to Danny Doolan's as well.
As far as people, you don't look too threatening.
No, you're honestly. Right. No.
Yeah, bit of profiling there on Charlie, and he's sweet. I dressed in different attire, maybe a different story.
Yeah. It's so loud, that stadium, and then at the end of the game as well, like the songs they're singing, it's awesome.
They needed that win, the Warriors, like because I can't see them doing much in finals just off the injuries that they've got.
Home game though.
This is it. They need a home semi, and people have spoken about maybe better to finish 5th and play 8th at home, but
that could be the Chooks now.
Yeah, it could be.
Screw that.
Yeah, so I think maybe you go 4th, play Canberra away and
home game week 2 and just see who you get.
Yeah, or even just you go. Obviously, you back yourself to try and beat Canberra, which would be difficult, but the Warriors desperately needed a win. And speaking of internationals, Charlie, there's been some huge news.
Payne Haas
officially pledged his allegiance to Samoa. I think this obviously causes a lot of conjecture around origin. Firstly, for me, as an immigrant here in Australia and with 2 daughters, if they chose to represent England, like I can only imagine how that would make me feel, or if they have children, grandkids, or great-grandkids. Like having a family member represent where I'm from would mean so much, and I could understand the feelings of, a number of players that are choosing their nation of heritage that people made big calls to move away from, and we love living here in Australia. I'm very grateful, but if someone chose to represent my country of heritage based off me, I'd be beyond proud. Like, it would mean the absolute world to me. It really would. So I get what these. I understand why these players are doing what they're doing. It strengthens the international game. I don't think anyone can argue against that. The point comes up, though, is if Payne Haas and Tino Fa'asuamaleaui play for New South Wales and Queensland respectively, should they be allowed to play for a country other than Australia? Now, I know some people are pushing back on that. I personally have no problem with that, because I think you can, as you don't want to make Origin a free-for-all and have players from England and England and New Zealand and Tonga, Samoa, Fiji, if they don't qualify, if they don't meet the required regulation. But that, for me, I think shouldn't stop players representing other countries. And I'd even go as far to say, as like a Kalen Ponga can be as proud and passionate about playing for Queensland and New Zealand. Because this tier 1, tier 2 grading is going to be redundant.
Yeah.
It can't be anymore.
It's just, well, it already is.
Like, Tonga and Samoa are just as good as New Zealand and Australia on their day. You know what I mean? Not quite that, but you wouldn't say they're a lesser division.
Yeah, they're not a tier away.
No, exactly.
Yeah.
What I will say is I love the passion. Like Gordon Tallis yesterday saying they shouldn't be able to play Origin if they go play for Samoa and Tonga. I love the passion from Gordy because he wants Australia to be as good as they possibly can.
Well, and also he's an ex-Australian captain.
Of course. And he wants Australia,
and he cares about Queensland, and he cares about Australia and the Kangaroos.
Yeah. And he wants Australia to dominate. And he wants Australia to be as good as they possibly can and win the World Cup and win every game they play.
That's the problem with the international game as well. If you change that rule, you're just going to create like an unfair advantage for Australia, like just a genuine unfair advantage.
And our game of rugby league is like no other, where an interstate competition is bigger than the international competition and bigger than the regular season in terms of the clubs. There's no sport in America that does it. There's no sport anywhere else around the globe that has this interstate, or 2 states out of their 5 or 6 in Australia that play this series in the middle of the season that takes over and dominates. So this is different. We've got no other examples to lean into where, so we're in a unique position. And I think because State of Origin has dominated so much, it is the pinnacle of the sport. It is so prestigious, not just financially, but think about Gordon, and I've spoke to him a number of times where, like, he'll still get beers bought for him by Queenslanders for what he did for Queensland.
Yeah.
Not for what he did for the Broncos or Australia.
Yeah.
He is, man, I love what he did for Queensland.
Yeah.
He's and people still shake his, I've seen it, man, love what he did for Queensland.
Yeah.
They're not saying love what he did for the Broncos, or which I imagine he'd get, but it's just, I've not seen love what he did for Australia.
Yeah.
He's getting that recognition for Queensland, and a lot of Origin players would. The prestige and the benefits of Origin far outweigh, and I think that puts players like Tino, players like Payne, Robert Toya under unnecessary pressure to make that call.
Yeah.
Like, because you're not going, you can't de-incentivize them to not pick their nation of heritage or their grandfathers or their parents.
Well, and then they should be able to pick and play who they want to play for, and Origin's just a different thing. Otherwise you're going to kill the international game as well. Because even you ask Gordy what his greatest achievement is, it would be playing for Australia, not playing for Queensland. You ask a lot of guys who play for Australia who really want to represent Australia, their greatest achievement is playing for Australia. Your greatest achievement is playing for New Zealand, in your eyes, probably. Am I right in saying that, Cheese?
Yeah.
Yours is playing for England, am I right, Jimmy?
Yeah.
Like, that means what it means to you guys. Let the players go and represent whoever they want.
But now, Charlie, let's look at recent history with Australia and the national game, that how many players pull out of tournaments at the end of the year based off injury. They would never do that for State of Origin.
Yeah.
That's true. And there's a generation of players that came through on kangaroo tours, like Gordon, like Wayne Pearce, that this kangaroo jersey was the absolute pinnacle. That, unfortunately, has now changed. And I don't know if it ever comes back to that same level where it goes above Origin. That has changed, where players now would grow up and kids would grow up going, I want to play for Queensland, I want to play for New South Wales, and Australia, yeah, be nice, but it's not the same. And the evidence for that is in the fact that a number of players pull out of tours for injury. Well, Kalen Ponga pulled out of Australia last year for a full pre-season. He didn't pull out of Origin. So, and look, I get that we want to put the Australian Kangaroos jersey on a pedestal above Origin, but it's not the same.
No.
It's probably case by case as well what it means. Like there might be players who it means more for them to play for Australia than it does for Queensland. Still, going on this tour, but there's also probably players, and maybe part of some of these defections are: do I want to play this summer? Do I want to play in Australia and be close to home, or do I want to go fly to England and be there for a month as well?
I know what I'd rather do.
I think it needs. There's like a level of it needs to be a bit more competitive, because like Australia just wins so much.
Yeah.
That it's like just very expected thing. Whereas like Origin is like unexpected.
Yeah.
Like you never know what's going to happen. Queensland, they come back out of nowhere. They win 200, like that sort of thing. Whereas the Aussie team sort of just they get by and win all the time. Like when Aussie lose, it's a big thing.
Yeah, the World Cup where like Tonga had a crack and you guys nearly won that World Cup. Which was over here
in 17.
8 years ago.
In 17, it was England Australia World Cup final. The last one that we had was Samoa v Australia. The one before, I think 08, there was 13 was New Zealand against Australia. 08 was New Zealand against Australia. So there's a changing there. Australia, obviously the common denominator, but with this spread of talent, obviously that increases the chances. Australia will still be favourites.
Yeah, of course.
Like, make no mistake about this. Going into the Ashes series, they're down on middles. Well, sorry, they're missing 2 middles as it currently stands.
Are they losing Tino?
Not guaranteed. It looks that way.
We don't know. It's yet to be confirmed. But still,
have you got any connections to Samoa?
No,
because they need a hooker. That's the one thing their team's sort of missing is a hooker.
Yeah, true.
Yeah, Your Kiwi
Tino. I heard a little whisper. I'm not going to say it.
He could be on the move, Tino. If I saw
did you?
He's going to taste. So he's got player options.
Yeah, but I heard the move.
Okay,
I heard something about Melbourne.
That'd be amazing. Geez. Bring him home.
Well, honestly.
Well, Nelson's contract's coming up. Yeah. That's what I'm saying, and he's on big money.
Well, mate, for me,
they kept fucking
for Tino and what he's dealing with at the Titans, he obviously doesn't like this situation. So, if he goes to Perth, you got to assume they're a work in progress. The Dragons, look, it's not. They're not screaming with finals, although they're improving and they're achieving enough results, and they're not that far away. And maybe Tino could be that person, but I think they need some more creativity in their halves. But if Tino maybe just thinks I just want to win, then it's less about the money and more about the destination.
That's what I'm saying, bro.
I think he does care a bit about money. He's on 1.5.
He's like 1.2.
No, but he's got a ratchet clause, so if we're from 2027, it'll be on 1.5. If we expect the cap to go up the way it is, it all depends on the broadcast deal.
If 1.2 or 1.5, and a 10-year deal, and on the press, he spoke after the game. He was committed for 3 weeks. Yeah. Like, I mean, good on him. He's brokered that deal. His agents brokered that deal.
That is fine.
But it's the best deal in history.
It actually is. If it's a 10-year, I don't know, it's a ratchet clause.
Yeah.
Bro, he'll be on like $3 million by the end of it.
Yeah, it's the best deal in history.
He's one of the best players in the game. As well.
and he good on him. He deserves it. But I think if he's going to go to one of those teams that are like look like they're going to press for a comp, he's probably going to have to take a pay cut, which would cause uproar. But that's an individual's right to choose. But I think if he's getting frustrated at losing at the Titans, why would you go somewhere else just for pure money?
Yeah, 100%. We're not leaving here, though, without talking about the Canterbury Bankstown Bulldogs. And, they seem to have fallen off a cliff. The spine reshuffle
fell off a cliff.
You went and Dogs sent the stats around for everything about how much better is Lockie Galvin over Toby Sexton. Look at his try involvements. Look at you now, Jimmy.
They're third, aren't they?
Yeah, the third. Oh. Yeah. But how have they been the last few weeks? That win again. They pumped Manly. Is that a good win now? Shows it's not a good win.
Well, after they just beaten Melbourne, if you pump Manly next week, probably not.
No, but
they beat Manly had just beaten Melbourne in Melbourne.
Yeah, but that was probably more of an outlier than the norm of their form.
Okay.
There's like a statistic on teams that beat Melbourne losing the following week, and it is stupid.
Yeah, is that right?
It's like 86%.
There you go.
86% of the time.
So that just shows
It's called the Melbourne Storm hangover.
They put so much into the Storm game. They were pooped, got beaten by you. Then what else have you done? You scraped past the Cowboys. You lost to the Broncos. This is just over the last 5-6 weeks. You lost the Chooks this week. And you didn't just lose the Chooks. You got bashed by the Chooks.
Yeah, the Middles, it was a wake-up call.
You beat the Warriors.
It was a wake-up call. It was a wake-up call. And they're still third.
They're still third, but it clearly signing Lockie Galvin has not worked.
I don't think that's a fair assessment.
The shake of the spine has caused... It looks like it's caused disharmony.
I think that's a fair statement. I don't think the signing statement, but the shake-up of the spine is definitely...
Yeah, look, that game on the weekend against the Roosters, it was nothing to do with the spine.
I don't care, though.
I do. We do care. Why do we care? It's not the reason they lost. They got beaten up in the middle.
But what I'm saying is the Dogs had this feel-good factor. Everyone on the year loved it. Everyone on the field seemed to love each other. They were all playing together as one. Yeah, you got bashed in the middle, and that's probably why you lost that game. But the spine shake-up has clearly affected the morale of the playing group, just based on the body language of everyone out there.
Well, they're losing, Charlie. One was winning, now they're losing.
Well, they won last week.
They're losing now, though.
I still think, I've always said that this season is a bonus.
Yeah, but that's
Leo.
I don't think that's something that people can just accept, though. Oh yeah, they would look like a premiership contender. They've got the best defense in the competition.
Yeah, and they still are a premiership contender. And I still think with Galvin in the team, they're a better chance of winning big games come the back end of the year. And in terms of what's happening,
why though? Why?
Why? Because he's a better player.
Why? What evidence? He's
more creative.
What evidence is there? At 19 years old, he's more creative than Toby Sexton.
Observe a game.
Do you need him? Do you need a creative player, or do you need someone like Toby Sexton who's going to manage the game a little bit more?
Well, that's a question. Well, they could, if they wanted to, they could still bring Toby Sexton back in.
Yeah, they could. Maybe, they should, in my opinion. I think they should bring Reid Marnie and Toby Sexton back in.
That's an interesting take. I disagree. I think Galvin is there. He'll stay at 7. What happens with Reid and Bailey Hayward? I mean, I don't know. I genuinely
think Reid needs to be starting.
Yeah.
And by my opinion, as much as I can't stand how he plays sometimes, he's pretty fucking smart. As a dummy half, he's a great ball player and he picks the right option all the time.
See, I'd want Reid to come back and play like he was.
Yeah.
Like I mean that in your face, aggressive, really frustrating opponent to play against. I think he dialed down from that. I'd like to see him lean into that and dial it a bit more. And you wear the penalties, or you just say, mate, don't make stupid ones like he has done in the past. But it's going to be interesting what they do, because I think the fact that they got beat up in the middle, I think they'll look at their bench and go, we can't afford a Kurt man who is a middle/utility and a second dummy half on the bench. I think they need size. And I think that comes in the shape of Tupanua or Sissoko Fafita.
Yeah.
So I think...
When's Tupanua? What's Tupanua?
I think he's back this week. I think.
From what?
I don't know if it was a hammy.
Was it this? Oh, so he did that suspension and hammy.
Yeah. So I think they'll make some changes, and obviously Coach Geraldo. But I mean,
next 3 weeks for them are big.
Yeah,
Storm
Melbourne,
away,
Penrith
at home, and Cronulla to finish.
Yeah. Look,
whatever you do, you got to get it right. Like over the next, whatever decision you make, because in all honesty, you just looked visually, and I think you can agree with this. Visually, you looked a better team how it was before Lockie Galvin showed up.
I do have a little bit of agreement there. They're looking very frustrated. I saw some stuff out there that they were very frustrated, like more than just losing a game frustrated.
Yeah, I mean,
tempers were higher.
I saw a team that was that missed the jump in the middle, especially after the 10, 15 minute mark. Yeah. That's what I saw. Yeah. And look, hey, I'm happy to cop it, but I think there are better chance of winning the comp this year with Galvin in 7. The 9 situation, I don't know. Yeah. I genuinely don't. Whether they go Hayward or whether they go Marnie.
I think like Hayward's. He's more of an asset at 13. Like an asset.
Yeah.
Because he's a great link player.
Yeah, but then I don't know if you can have him and Kurt Mann on the bench. I think you need bigger bodies coming on.
The reality
you're going to have Kurt Mann and Reid Marnie on the same time.
Or you make a call now and just go.
Yeah, one of them, I don't think they can both be on the bench. It's too small.
Too similar.
Yeah.
Too similar. Yeah. And I think Kurt Mann could cover dummy-half as well.
Yeah, definitely. He's done that in the past. I think he did that a bit at the Knights when he was there. I mean, the reality is they're not going to put Sexton back in the team because they went around and gave his stats to every journo.
Did they?
Yeah. So they're not really going to be able to go now and go, we got Sexton back. He's our man. Because they pushed the agenda of Galvin too much. They've got to now fall on their sword with that decision.
Well, you make decisions and you live and die by them. And I like I say, I reiterate that point. I think the Bulldogs are a better opportunity of winning games of football with Galvin in the side.
Yeah, keen to see.
I just think the honestly watching that Melbourne versus Penrith game, it was just a cut above every other game.
But then the Penrith v Bulldogs game was exactly the same.
Exactly, and you guys were on top.
that was not the Bulldogs we've seen.
James, you're right. That was exactly right. That is where it all went wrong for you guys because against Penrith, you looked fantastic. 8-6, great game.
Yeah,
you were up, and then you brought on Lockie Galvin and shifted everyone around, and then. Nathan Cleary threw the dummy. Nathan Cleary threw the dummy.
So you missed. So you
and Lockie missed the tackle, and then that's the play that changed your entire season.
Yeah. I remember Nathan Cleary had a charge down. Yes, of course.
Off that
big
set
play.
though, because they were having to kick from the 20-meter line because of the
because he made the line break. Yeah.
And I'm not blaming him. I'm just saying what I'm saying is the disharmony, like shaking up a spine when you're sitting first, is a strange thing to do, and it clearly has become obvious that it was the wrong thing to do.
I don't like to agree with the journos, but
the sideline eye over there. All right, that's all we got time for. But come on, the Dogs, fucking win next week, just so I can give it to this.
Whoa! Then that's the frustration of a Bulldogs fan.
Exactly, they're off kilter.
That's why I hate these players laying in the ruck so much. All right, thanks for listening, everyone. We'll catch you next week.